Hello and welcome back to my channel. Let It Go with Anna, made by my own creative hands. We have Thames joining us today. She's going to be singing her beautiful music, so shout out to Thames. And I would like to just jump straight in because we can have a chat a bit more at the end. So the reason why we have music today is because it opens up my creative paths. It just keeps me calm. And because the topic today is about how I dealt and got rid of my anxiety, I just thought we'd have some background noise. So if you see me looking down, just to let you know, because I'm new to this, I'm not trying to go on like, you know, I'm big about here. So I've got my notes here, just headers so I can keep on track for you guys. So I'm looking down just to make sure I'm on track. So how I beat anxiety. Well, let me go back and tell you when it first started. And it started in 2012 when I lost my mum. And I remember at her night, which is a celebration of her life before the funeral. Some people call it the wake. So I remember standing at her front door. She died in October, so it was a season when I'm in the UK, by the way. So it's a season where it's dark early, and I remember standing at her front door, smoking a cigarette, just looking up into the sky and at the clouds and all the doom and gloom, and it just felt so depressing. And I remember feeling like, wow, you're on your own. Like, I had this orphan vibe come over me, like, you have no mum. And I started remembering all the times when I'd gone on holidays and, you know, been a bit reckless and spent like over what I should have, and be on the phone like, Mum, I've missed my flight, can you please book me another one? And she'd do it, and I'd get home and I'd just be like, oh, Mum, you're the best. Like, she was just like a little backbone, well, a big backbone in my life. So when I looked up at the sky at her door, and I just thought, Anne, you're here on your own now. Like, yeah, you have siblings, but you're the oldest. Like, you have to shoulder the brunt of things. So that's when it first started, but it wasn't bad. I just had those feelings of being alone, not abandoned, but being alone. And because my mum's death was sudden, there was no warning, like she's gonna die. There was nothing. So for me, that was like shock. It was feeling alone. It was questioning my own mortality, looking at my daughters and looking at my siblings and thinking, I've got to step up. Like, I'm the big sister, I'm the mum. So I couldn't show any signs of feeling afraid around them. So we do what we do as women, and we just toughed it out. We just got on with it. I pushed my emotions to the back, and I just got so practical. And at that moment was the start where a lot of things were born. So moving forward into when COVID came, and I had a food truck that I was working in, and I was allowed to be out and, you know, doing my food. So when everybody was in, I was still out, so I felt quite okay. But then going out and not having people around, the mass that you're used to seeing, was like, where am I? Like, this place just seemed a bit alien. But I still didn't think anything of it, because I'm the type of person who I just crack on. So a day came when there was like, I could count the people, and I was like, no, this thing is really like making an impact on everybody's lives. But for some reason, I never had any fear about COVID. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I just didn't have any fear, because I'm logical to say that if this thing was so bad, and if this thing was wiping people out, we wouldn't even be able to have our windows open. Like, we'd have to be in a gas mask. Like, masks won't do it. And I've always made jokes, and I've said to people, like, when you've got your mask on, do you think if I fart and you're not going to smell it? Or do you think if I spray myself up with perfume, you're not going to smell it through the mask? So what's the point? Yeah, but that's just my own feelings about it. Not trying to put it on you, not trying to say COVID wasn't real, not saying anything. I'm just saying my experience and my take on stuff. So that as well, I like to just put a little disclaimer out there, say the things I speak about are in my opinions, my experiences. No way are they facts, it's just the way I view the world. So it was March in the COVID, and it was my daughter's birthday, and one of my little cousins wanted to come, so I went to pick her up, and she lives over in an area called Chislehurst. So I thought, right, I will go and pick her up. No, her mum, sorry, we made the arrangement that her mum would bring her and I would drop her home. So there was about 7 of us in the house, me as an adult and 6 kids. So we're having a good time, food, barbecues lit. I'm looking up at my neighbour's window thinking, you better not be grassing or be saying anything about this little soiree, because children, they just need to be children. They don't need to get caught up in learning fear and not being able to celebrate their special day, because birthdays for me are special, and that's one of the things that I do celebrate. So when the evening ended, one of my friends came down, and she said to me she'll follow me, she'll drive with me to bring my little cousin back. So we was driving and was going through, because Chislehurst is very woodland, so we was going through the woodland, the roads, and this feeling came over me. Now, I've never experienced this feeling before, and I just started to feel hot, and I'm hearing my heartbeat inside my ears louder than normal, because, you know, normally we don't pay attention to our heartbeat, we don't hear it, but I could hear it through both of my ears. So I wound the window down, right down, and at that point, like I said, it was March, so it wasn't warm, and it's not that I didn't care about the passengers, but I'm driving and I need to do what I need to do. So all I kept on thinking to myself is, what is this feeling? My stomach was rolling, it was churning, I'm feeling hot, my heartbeat in my ears, my friend's talking to me, I'm like, but I'm not taking it in, I'm not paying any attention to her. So I'm like, do I stop? I don't want to worry them, I don't want to worry anyone, what do I do? So in my mind, I just said, keep going, Anne, keep going, you're going to be fine, just keep going. So I had about 10 more minutes to this journey. So I carried on going. Soon as I stopped that car, I flung that door open. I took my little cousin, brought her into her mum's, and I said to her mum, please give me a bottle of water. So she gave me a bottle of water, I drank it, and then I got back in the car, and then I said to my friend, I don't feel right. Like, I don't know what this is, but I'm feeling anxious, and I don't know, like, and at this point, I had trembling in my fingers, my feet felt funny, the back of my legs felt funny. I almost felt like I was in flight or fight mode, or fight or flight mode, and I couldn't understand it. So she was like, you'll be all right, just take your time. So she didn't speak as much, but she was talking to help me concentrate. So as we was going along the journey back home, I started to feel a bit better. So I was just like, wow, I don't know what that was. But when I came home and I got through the door, it's almost like what had happened didn't happen. So never thought anything of it. Maybe I was doing too much. Maybe it was just the happiness of the day. I don't drink alcohol, but I do smoke a menthol cigarette. I am guilty of that. So I just thought, could it be the cigarette? Like, maybe, I don't know. So put that aside. Another occasion came when because I love DIY. You're gonna see that on another one of my channels. So I like looking at a bargain, I love the markets. So I needed something for the house. So where do I go? Off to, I don't even know if I can say the word, but I'll just say that Swedish store, that big one. So I went there, And soon as I got up the escalators and I started walking through, because I was literally going for one thing, that feeling came amongst me again. Now I'm about 8-10 miles away from home, maybe more, because I'm not good with things like that. So I was half an hour's drive away from home, and I'm going through the IKEA, and I just saw this bed. You know, they have the displays, and I just sat on it, and my heart in my ears again beating, the feeling hot again, and I was just like, something ain't right. But I couldn't get up. I could not stand up for the life of me. And people were going by and they were saying to me, are you okay? Are you all right? And normally I'm like, I'm fine. But this time I was like, no, I'm not all right. So the wife stayed with me and the husband went and got a security guard. So he came upstairs, he was like, what's happened? Are you okay? Has anybody hurt you, troubled you? What's the matter? So I said to him, I don't know, but I've had this feeling literally 2 weeks ago, and I just think I'm anxious. It's all the stuff. It was just overwhelming, all this stuff in this store, and just loads of it, and I was just like, I can't walk through it. So he took me a back way, down the stairs, didn't go in the lift, down the stairs, and he made me sit by the exit because the door was there so I could get breeze. So he said, you know, what have you come for today? So I told him. So because I had it on my phone, I had a picture. So he went and got it. I tapped the card and then they let me leave. So on the journey home, I'm still feeling anxious, but not as much. And all I kept saying to myself is, you're going home. You're on your way home and everything will be fine. You're going home. Just focus on the road and just put the window down and you'll be fine. So I done that. As soon as I was getting closer to home, I recognised my surroundings. I started feeling fine. I started feeling like, what was all that fuss about? So I came home. I don't like to go on Google. So I came home, I went on Google and I looked it up and it said, you know, these are symptoms and signs of anxiety, clammy hands, feeling sweaty, like just thoughts and thinking like bad things are going to happen. So I thought, right, again, I'm not one for the doctor unless my head's hanging off. So I started drinking herbal teas. Well, I have them in the house, but I started drinking them more. And I started to just like focus and talk to myself like, what's going on with you, Anne? Because I believe that if I ask myself the questions, especially if I put my hand over my heart and I'm in like a relaxed full state and I put my hand over my heart and ask myself the questions, at some point of that day or night, maybe even the next morning, I'll get the answer. So I asked myself, and all that came back was that you're just probably overwhelmed and not taking in the traumatic events that you've just been through, and you're just still trying to get on with everything as normal. So then at that period, I was always going to my mum's grave. I was always, you know, thinking about her. Plus my daughter wasn't well. I just had so much going on. I had younger siblings that I was looking after. There's so much was going on. So I just put it down to, all right, maybe you need to stop the food truck and you just need to take some time out for yourself and rest. So I was doing that and I was getting on fine. But because I can't keep still and I always like to be doing things, I started going back out and about again. So I made an arrangement with my friend, a good friend of mine. She lives over in North London. So I decided I was going to go and visit her. So to get to North London, I've got to go through the Blackwall Tunnel. So going along, just fine, on this dual carriageway, going along. The tunnel approaches, I go through the tunnel, I'm going through it. Straight away, I'm starting to think, what would happen if the tunnel was broke and water started coming through? What would I do? Would I wind my windows up? Would I get out? I'm a good swimmer, would I swim out? And then I was just like, why am I thinking these things? Where are these thoughts coming from? And I started like looking at the other drivers, looking in my mirror to see the drivers behind me, I'm carrying on going, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, and then I can feel it. My legs are feeling shaky, my hands are getting sweaty, my heart's beating again in my ears. I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's nothing I can do. I can't stop, I can't do anything. So I had my music playing and I'll try to focus on the song because I knew it. That wasn't helping. I wound the window down, I turned the music down, and I just started speaking to myself again. And you're going to be okay. Just keep on going. We don't know what this is, but we're going to figure this out. But for now, think about, you're going to see your friend. You haven't seen her for a long time. You're going to have fun. You're going for dinner. Use Lot's favourite Turkish restaurant. Just keep on going. So I'm going, my speed has come down dramatically and I'm driving like an old age pensioner. So I'm going along, and even though I'm in another area, I'm familiar with North London, so I know where I'm going. I'm not gonna, you know, don't need to worry about is it this left or watch the sat nav. I know exactly where I'm going. So when I got there, I told her about it. And she said to me, and that sounds like your anxiety. I said, you know, I looked on Google and I did see that, but I don't want to claim it. I don't want to say that I have anxiety. What have I got to be anxious about? Now, she sat me down and said the same thing. You've been through a lot. You know, losing your mum is not an easy thing. Like, I don't know what you're doing for yourself. Because when my mum died, they did get together and they got me this David Lloyd voucher, and I had a really nice like pamper relax day, massage, nails, the whole shebang. But she was like, it's just a lot for you. You're just, maybe you need to really like take time. I said, well, that's why I'm here today, because I wanted to come and see you, because you know she's hella funny. So I wanted her to like just have like, you know, best friend time. So we carried on the evening, went to the restaurant, had a good time. It was time to come home, and she even offered, bless her, like, and do you want me to come with you? You know, she'll take the train back. And I was like, no, I can't do that to you, darling. It's all right. Like, I'm gonna get through this. So I made my way home. The anxiety didn't come back on my way home, and then I started linking, is it because I know I'm going home? Am I getting anxiety because I'm going out of like a good journey's distance, or is it just because I'm on my own? Is it because there's not a lot of people around? Like, is it because it's new territory for me? Like, is this why I'm getting this feeling, this anxiety? So I just started to logically try to work it out in my head. I tried to work out, like, what have I eaten, drank recently that I'm not used to having? Like, I just tried to eliminate so many different things, and still I just couldn't put my finger on it. So still not going to the doctor, I'm not taking any medication, it's not for me. So I just thought, you know, the power of my mind, I will overcome this, and I strongly believed in that. So I had to go over to a printer in North London, and I was going to avoid going through the tunnel, but I don't know my way so confidently going through the city streets. So I just said, Anne, this is not you. Like, you're a boss. Like, you're a champion. You're not afraid like that. You're just going to go. It might not even happen. So just go again and do it. When again, it happened, but it didn't happen as bad. And I started looking and thinking, like you said before, you're a good swimmer. Anything at all happens, it's just God's way. This is just how my life ends. Stop worrying. You can't control everything, and you can't live in this type of fear. So I carried on the journey. I went over. I never said anything to the printer because he is a good friend of mine. Didn't say anything to him. Came back home, and I just started thinking to myself, you know what, this is all in my mind. There's a reason what's making me anxious, but I don't know. But it is actually in my mind, and I can actually fix this. And again, I started to believe it. So I would have smaller moments where I'd be just going through a different area, but it's an area that I'm used to. Like maybe I'm just going 2 miles down the road, I'd start to feel some sort of anxiousness. I'd talk myself through it, and then it would go. So what I've come to realize is that I can heal myself. I don't need to outsource my power to anybody to say, can you fix this? Can you like give me something to stop this? Because things always have a way of coming back when you don't deal with like it yourself. And I just thought, you know, I'm in charge, I'm in control of me. My mind plays tricks, we all know it plays tricks on us, but I know I can do this. So that's literally what I've done. I just spoke myself through things. I would breathe in times when I needed to breathe, just like, oh, it's okay. You know, winding the window down and getting a bit of air helped me, and talking to myself was the best thing. I calmed myself down, and I knew that I could. I calmed myself down. So a part of this, I started to look into meditation and started thinking like I need to be able to channel some of my emotions, like when I'm feeling any kind of way, because you know I was at that stage, I was in grief, I was down, I was depressed, like I was just not myself. So I found meditation, and before I found meditation, it would be all these types of relaxing musics that I would listen to that would sort of give me a boost and just change the mood and the aura in my house. And the DIY, getting creative, really helped. It put my mind in another place, and it was enjoyable for me to do. I like transforming all kinds of things, objects, things in my house, changing the rooms, the colour schemes, doing things different. I like to be original. So once I got my creative flair like really up and going, because I've got the talents but I wasn't really aware of them, and then all I'd need to do is see how that bed head was made, and then next week I'm sawing wood to make a bed head. Like I'm that way. So the creativity really helped me to like focus and have something to look forward to, especially in like the COVID time when we was all sort of pulling out our hair, like how we gonna fill the day, what we gonna do, because I'm not a movie person or into TV like that. So the creativeness for me was just everything. So dancing to music and enjoying myself, and just knowing that everything's gonna be all right. And I strongly believed in that. I just said, it's got to be all right. Like, anything happens to me, what's going to happen to these children? I have to be okay. And I just stayed with that. And I was. So I know that my level of anxiety could be minimum to other people's levels. But one of the things I would like to say is, when something starts, if you nip it in the bud, as quickly as it starts, it won't stay around, it won't hang around. But if you feed into that and play into that, for me, I think it gets worse and worse for somebody. So my advice is, don't play into any of these, because anxiety is an emotion. It's an emotion of uncertainty, unsure. You don't know what's going to happen, you don't know, your mind's playing tricks on you, and then your body starts to react to what your mind is saying. But if you take a grasp of that and you speak logical to yourself and reassure yourself and believe in what you're saying, it will go away. And you just have to keep doing it. And when you feel it coming on, don't start panicking. Oh my God, it's coming, it's coming. No, just tell yourself, okay, I feel that feeling, but it's not going to stay here with me for long. You talk yourself through it, you meditate through it, you listen to your music, you do whatever you have to do until that feeling goes away. And that's how I dealt with it. It is all in your mind. And I'm not trivializing anybody's situation, but everything that we go through, everything happens, our mind is the first to bring it about. So I would just like to say that if you struggle with anxiety in a much more severe way than I do, my advice to you is to get brave, like really be brave, and just go towards the fear, go towards it. It's coming at you, go back at it, challenge it, get rid of it, because you can, much more than drugs, medicines, alcohols, whatever. You just channel your mind. Everything starts there, so channel your mind. So another thing is, with negative thoughts, never mind just anxiety, with negative thoughts, sometimes when they come along, we can't do anything about them. Something in our aura has created this thought that's come. Maybe we saw something, watched something on TV, and we start thinking, wonder if this will happen to us, what if, and all of that stuff. What I would say to you is, when these thoughts come, don't give any feeling to it. Just be like a third person to your mind when these thoughts come. So you are you, that's number one. The thought is a second person. And say like the thought is coming, because it's coming from over here, and you're thinking all these bad things and what could happen and what might be and whatever. Just stand back and observe the thought and just let it go past you. Don't need to call anyone about it. Don't need to tell anyone, oh, I was thinking this. Just, especially when they're bad, just let them go past you. When you learn to do that, they go away. They don't come back, because you learn that reacting on it and thinking all the what ifs and not, that creates a more fear aura around you. So thought will come, or something bad might come into your mind, and you recognize it. Just don't give it any energy. Just let it go like this. Just let it pass you. Just keep doing that, and then it will just go away. So I would like you to comment down below if you try this technique, this strategy, and let me know that when you get those bad thoughts or those anxious feelings, and you just let them go by and speak to yourself and ground yourself and don't let the fear in. Comment down below and let me know, has it worked for you? Because sometimes we are looking for this big fix, like we think to get rid of this, we need to do all these things. It's the simplest of methods that get rid of things. People won't believe that because it's just too simple, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it's not scary and it doesn't make you feel some kind of way. Everything that happens that's a new thing can make you feel scary, but the message I'm trying to give to you is just don't feed into it. Push back at it. Just get brave and push back at it. And I'm not just like, get brave, you know, but it's really what you have to do. You have to just face it. There's a lot of things in life that come our way, and we just have to face it. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much we talk, whatever substances we take, at the end of it all, we still have to learn to just face it. So that's what I done, and I hope that it can help you. So with all that being said, I think I can wrap this up now, and I genuinely hope that this has helped you. Until we meet again, just take care. If you can, subscribe. I'm not really up for the likes, I'm just doing this because this is my heart. This is just what I want to do, but I feel compelled a little bit to say like and subscribe, but only do it if you want to, yeah? But I do appreciate your time, and thank you for being here with me. And just take good care of yourselves, and remember, we are spiritual beings going through a human existence, so just embrace it all. Okay, take care, lots of love, bye.